Are we advocating a one-state goal? Because the one-state goal, which is mentioned more on European campuses than anywhere by actual people in the Middle East, has already been tried, and it's called Syria. It's where Sunnis and Alawites and Druze and Shiites shared one country. It worked only under a ruthless dictatorship, and today it's bringing about extreme bloodshed and suffering.
How you guys doing? This is Sahar TV, and in today's video we're seeing another Oxford Union debate. And in today's agenda, should Israel allow a Palestinian state to be created next to it? Let's take a look.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here tonight. I can't avoid reflecting on Gideon Levy. I think Gideon has a lot in common with the magic wand guy who was just here before. I think that the belief that peace is simply in Israel's gift, and that if tomorrow we would all lay down our arms, the Middle East would be just a great place, is one of the obstacles that's prevented us from having peace until now. And if you want proof, I'll give you proof. Look at us, Israelis. How many here? Two at least. One who's visiting every week. One here demonizing Israel. But we're all talking. We're all trying to find solutions because we care about what's going on in the Middle East and we want to see a different future. Are there any Palestinian official representatives here? They're not, because they won't negotiate with Israel. Not here on campus, not in the UK, not anywhere. Our Prime Minister...
If you're wondering why people are clapping for him, because he's an Israeli, it's because this was recorded 9 years ago. Today, they have a completely different opinion about Israel. I don't think anybody would clap.
The minister, with all the criticism that you can lay against him, has called for direct negotiations. Again, here in London, just a few months ago, and just as recently as 2 weeks ago. No response has been forthcoming. But we're here to talk about the two-state. And we have to talk about the Middle East. If we look at it today, we see borders being erased in front of our eyes. In battles between Shia and Sunni Islam, between groups that seek their own national aspirations. In Syria, in Iraq, in Libya. If the past 3 years have taught us anything, is that there is no vacuum. A decision not to act, a decision to deny a certain opportunity can have just as severe ramifications as a decision to act. And we have to ask ourselves, what is the meaning of declaring the two-state solution unattainable or dead? Are we advocating a one-state goal? Because the one-state goal, which is mentioned more on European campuses than anywhere by actual people in the Middle East, has already been tried, and it's called Syria. It's where Sunnis and Alawites and Druze and Shiites shared one country. It worked only under a ruthless dictatorship, and today it's bringing about extreme bloodshed and suffering, including massive displacements, with implications reaching deep into Europe, as you all know. Yeah. And we know Syria wasn't the only victim of the drawing of lines by colonial powers. The 47th division between Israel and Palestine was far from perfect, with Jews and Palestinian Arabs living on both sides of the newly declared border. We know that the war that erupted as Arab states refused to accept Israel and sought to destroy it, saw hundreds of thousands of Palestinians displaced, as well as Jews who were kicked out of Arab countries.
They weren't Palestinians at the time. They were just Arabs. They considered themselves as Bilad Hashamis, and people who came from Egypt, and people who want to be a part of the big Syrian, greater Syria nation. But they weren't Palestinians. They were Arabs. The identity was later developed to demonize the Jews and the Zionists and kick them out.
And found their way to Israel. But we have to be fully aware that dwelling on past wrongs by the British, by newly formed Israel, by the Arab countries, is going to get us absolutely nowhere. We have to look to the future.
I agree.
And today, in the area between the Mediterranean and the Jordan, there are two distinct peoples, each with their own national aspirations and a right to self-determination. Now, that's been the main objective of the Palestinian liberation movement. For many years, it was aimed to create that state on the entire territory instead of Israel. That's still the aim of Hamas and some other groups, both in Israel and abroad. But the recognized Palestinian leadership, if it was here today, it would be probably on our side, has been advocating a two-state solution for many years, as have Israeli leaders. And we were very close to agreements, despite what Mr. Levy says. Chief Palestinian negotiator Saeb Erekat said as recently as last year, there is no such thing as the one-state solution. Talks between PM Barak and Arafat, later between Olmert and Abu Mazen that were mentioned here, and most recently as part of the Kerry Initiative, set out terms. We've gone a long way in the past years. But perhaps the most important point I'll make here tonight, I don't know who this is, but it's fine.
That's the most Israeli thing I've seen in a long time. I don't know whose this is. I'm just going to drink it.
Is that this realistic goal is the one supported by the majority of the populations on both sides. This is why a two-state solution is the only viable goal if you actually choose to listen to the people on the ground. Israel, on its part, has proved twice in the past that it's capable of taking difficult decisions, carrying them out to the letter. We talk about settlements as one of the main reasons here why the two-state solution is impossible for some reason. Israel withdrew thousands of people from settlements in the Sinai to achieve peace with Egypt. And in 2005, it withdrew many thousands of settlers from Gaza. And I think that previous rounds of negotiations, as has been mentioned here, made clear that settlement blocks would remain within Israel, with appropriate land swaps being made. And this, again, is not me saying so. It's things that have been achieved already and have been agreed upon with our Palestinian counterparts, Palestinian negotiators. Now, let's make it clear. The Palestinian side here has a heavy burden of proof. Israel's withdrawal from Gaza didn't bring about a peaceful era, but rather a protracted conflict led by a terror group that's kidnapped Gaza's civilian population and has no interest in peace. The Palestinian leadership today cannot deliver peace in Gaza.
9 years later, we see exactly what happened, October 7th. That's the result of Israel leaving places for peace. You leave for peace, you get the piss.
You people...
I made it up just now. If it doesn't make any sense, please don't judge. I'm new to this streaming this thing. Yeah, what does this button do?
On this side know that very well. That's why you keep talking about Fatah. And many rightly question whether Palestinians can deliver peace in the West Bank. But these are not reasons to give up on the idea, especially when you consider the motives, the motivations of those who are eager to declare the impossibility of two states. Who are these people? They are generally those who believe they can somehow get rid of the other side. They are those who want to see the Jewish right to national self-determination nullified within a non-Jewish majority, an experiment that's gone so badly wrong across the Middle East, they'd like to replicate that in Israel and Palestine. It's a misguided idea that's not going to get us anywhere simply because Israel is here to stay, as are the Palestinian people. And by the way, we're always going to be neighbors. We do business, we cooperate on security, on medical issues today, on practically everything. There's no going around that fact. But we need to separate from one another in order to achieve that peace. Even in school, when you guys were in school and you'd make noise and fight, what would the teacher say? I'm going to separate you. It's as simple as that. And that's what all of the responsible actors in the region understand. Not only Israelis and Palestinians, not only the US, but the European Union and the Arab League and others. So what's missing here isn't a mechanism to implement a two-state solution. What's missing, that ingredient that we deeply lack, both of us, is trust. Many Palestinians don't believe Israel can carry out what it says, while many Israelis, based on the experience of Gaza, don't believe Palestinians can deliver peace. I believe we don't have the luxury of giving up on the idea of living peacefully side by side. At an event recently, Israel's president, Ruby Rivlin, said, "The task of building trust between Arabs and Jewish people is a task for anyone who cherishes this country." We must also acknowledge that the future of the region is not going to be decided in London or in the US. It's going to be decided between Israelis and Palestinians around the negotiating table, resulting in difficult compromises from both sides. That's why reestablishment of trust is a prerequisite for any meaningful progress to be made.
I just have to say something. I don't think that the Palestinian side is willing to accept or recognize a Jewish state. And that comes from an Islamic perspective, not from a land perspective. They just can't comprehend the fact that Jews belong here and that Jews should have a right to self-determine here. And they believe this land should be Muslim again. You know, some people say that, some people on the Palestinian side say that Jews were never here. That we are trying to make up a situation where there's a temple buried under the Al-Aqsa Mosque to reclaim it. I think it stems from that. It stems from the Islamic perspective, not from the Palestinian perspective that was made up to coin the the movement, the narrative.
Now, this much-needed dialogue is what the majority of both our populations want.
That is a lie. I genuinely don't think that this is what their population wants. I think their population wants from the river to the sea, They want to remove all the Jews. They want to create whatever Islamic place they want to create. And I don't think there's any intention from the other side to build a Palestinian state. If you're asking me what's the most valuable plan, look up the Palestinian Emirates plan by Dr. Mordechai Kedar. It's a really interesting plan, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot better than this one.
It's also what our leaders advocate. And I say to you, be a part of this change. Support organizations like One Voice and others that bring Israelis and Palestinians together, here in the UK or wherever. It's an imperfect and difficult road. It's not a magic wand. It's not a decision that tomorrow there's going to be peace. Perhaps it's long overdue, but it's the only road we have. Because declaring here that the two-state solution is dead, what does that do? Ask yourselves. It says we give up. We abandon the region to the fanatics who would fight it out to the last drop of blood. If we, the people suffering through decades of violence, and yes, Israelis too, on both sides, are still convinced that the formula of two states for two peoples is the only way to achieve peace, what...
I disagree with Yiftah. The reason why people in Ramallah or, the West Bank or Gaza are under restrictions, or they suffer from specific minority group of Israelis who commit crimes against them, usually after getting provoked, is because of their own actions. It's because of the Molotov cocktails that they throw at the Palestinians. It's because of the stones. It's because of the explosives, the stabbings. It's because of the chants. It's because of these things. If they would have chosen to accept an Arab state in 1948 and not have committed a single attack and not to invade Israel, we could have lived here in peace. But they have no intention in doing so.
For my part, Israel's my home. Me and Gidon and others are going back there. It's where my children are going to grow up. It's where I want to see them prosper rather than fight wars. And I'd like for you to leave with one message. The way to influence, to make a difference in what goes on in Israel and Palestine is by helping to build trust and by listening to the people in the region. And if you do that, you'll find both Israelis and Palestinians support a two-state future. Thank you.
Listen, he started good, but at the end, I highly disagree with him. They do not support a two-state solution. Explain the situation why they refused every single two-state solution offer that Israel made. Every single one they did. 1937, 1948, 1967, the year 2000, the year 2005, the year 2008. They keep refusing. They have no intention in building an Israeli state. They have no intention in recognizing an Israeli state and building a Palestinian one. They never had this intention. Never. By the way, they're also Muslim, and Muslims don't believe in border. They should live under the Islamic wing, under the Islamic idea. And Islam doesn't believe in borders. Islam is a worldwide caliphate idea. So I disagree with this guy. And this was filmed again 9 years ago. I wonder if he would say the same today, after the attack on October 7th. If you'd like to watch more of my stuff, please check out my channel down below. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification button so you can be notified every time I upload new content. If you'd like to support me and the channel financially, you can do that using Buy Me Coffee or Patreon down in the links below. Also, we now have a Discord that you can join down in the link below. And now you can become a YouTube member and enjoy specific YouTube perks. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.